Welcome to Worship Daily. I'm your host, Serby, and thanks for tuning in. Today's episode focuses on the charity Canadian Food for Children. Our special guest today is Lily, the exports manager, who is here today to discuss the importance of that special charity. Our interviewer, Isabella Ricci, is with her now. Take it away, Isabella.
Thanks, Serby. Lily, welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you here today. For the viewers that might be wondering, what's the mission of Canadian Food for Children?
The mission of Canadian Food for Children is to feed the most needed around the world.
That's amazing. What does a day in the life of being the exports manager look like to you?
It's a very rewarding job. We ship containers full with clothing, shoes, of course, food, canned food, pasta, vegetable oil, dry eggs, all kinds of things.
Wow, that's a pretty important job. For those that might be wondering, what is the origin and background information about Canadian Food for Children? Canadian Food for Children is a local charity that has helped many. Its goal is to help the poor and hungry. This charity was started by Joan and Andrew Simone in 1985 and has been active ever since, working to help the poor and hungry across the globe and in Canada. Lily, what are some of the services that this charity offers?
The only way we help Canada is by buying beans, vegetable and products from here. Also by taking foods that the companies no longer can sell. Instead of going to a landfill, we can take them and send them to the people that need it.
That's great. Can you give me an example of the way that you've seen this organization's work make a difference, or any stories that you've heard of people impacted by it?
We have these kids that we used to help years ago, and now they're adults and they have families of their own. They have been able to succeed, they have a job, and they were in the verge of losing their lives. So a lot of them were very malnourished. So we can see the difference that love, care, and food makes for them.
That's so inspirational and really shows how dedicated this charity is to helping others. For now, Serby, back to you.
Thanks, Isabella. As it was stated by Lily, the Canadian Food for Children charity is immensely thoughtful in regards to their approach in helping the youth, using all the money and donations that they receive. The organization also looks forward to providing the most comfortable experience for all those in need, and can lend a helping hand to those who impact the workers' lives just as much as the charity does theirs. We have our analyst, Isabella Ramirez, with us to explain the two themes of Catholic social teachings that Canadian Food for Children represents. Isabella, care to explain?
Thanks, Serby. Canadian Food for Children represents two themes of Catholic school teachings. These themes are call to family, community, and participation, and care for God's creation.
Interesting. How does this charity represent call to family, community, and participation?
Well, Canadian Food for Children is a charity that advocates for people to donate and volunteer. The donations are very important because they are sent to other countries to help others, and if there are no donations, the less they will be able to help others. This charity often encourages people to pitch in and lend a helping hand by packaging boxes and sorting and collecting donations. Let's check in and see if Lily can give us some insight about what a helping hand can do for a charity.
Thanks, Isabella. Lily, what's some advice you have for people that want to help out but don't know where to start?
Some people think that, they just have a little bit and they think it's too little, and I would say that anything helps. Anything.
Wow.
It could be a can of food, a bag of pasta, anything will make a big difference.
Exactly. A helping hand can really make a difference. Back to you.
Thanks. You heard it from Lily. Anything helps.
So if that is how Canadian Food for Children demonstrates that Catholic social teaching, then how does it demonstrate care for God's creation?
Through care for God's creation is a slogan for Earth Day. Its meaning is actually much deeper than Earth Day. To care for God's creation is to care for others, our surroundings, and our faith. Even if a stranger or your neighbor that you barely talk to, we as God's children have a mission to protect each other and love others, as they are our brothers and sisters. Canadian Food for Children demonstrates care for God's creation by feeding the poor and hungry. They send out donations and boxes of food to those in need, just like how God feeds us when we are hungry. They truly genuinely care about the people and want them to be satisfied and taken care of.
Alright, I've got a good question for you. If this charity was to win the $5,000 donation from Michael Power St. Joseph High School, how do you think that money would be used?
We will use to buy beans in bulk. We buy bags that are 2,000 pounds each, and they're around $500 each. That's an average. It goes up and down. And so we will buy trucks of food. Like, we can buy trucks of food. With that amount, we can buy, I don't know, maybe quite a few bags. So. And it's good protein for them. And we send also vegetable oil, and we also send rice. So that would, make a great meal for the kids.
Wow, that's a really great answer.
It honestly is. That is an excellent way to use the money and a great way to help more people in need across the world. So viewers, take into consideration how you can call to family, community, and participation and care for God's creation. Can you think of a couple ways that you can do this? The 7 themes of Catholic social teachings are incredibly significant and important to think about in everyday life. Try to think of ways that you can demonstrate these teachings. Even what may be viewed as a small action can make the biggest difference.
It really can. Those 2 Catholic school teachings demonstrate the mission and goal of Canadian Food for Children incredibly. Can you give some examples of things that we can do in our daily lives to better our society?
We, as God's children, do many things to better our society. For example, connecting with others, donating time or goods in a good cause, volunteering or helping out a local business or charity, and even just helping others in school, the workplace, or in your neighborhood are ways that we can make an impact on others and our society. Helping others can lead to a more supportive and positive community where all of God's children can care and support each other, just like God supports and cares for everyone.
Indeed, this call to action can benefit so many people and communities, and this is what is most important. Thanks, Isabella, for this excellent analysis and call to action. Now time for the final question.
I've got one final question for you. What's your favorite part of working at Canadian Food for Children, and have you been personally impacted by this charity?
My favorite part here is that a lot of the donations that we got, monetary donations, go to the poor. The administration's expenses here are very little. We only have 3 paid staff. Then the rest is volunteers. The warehouse, we have sometimes 30, 40 people working at the warehouse, and they're volunteers. So the way that has changed my life, I would say that I see the commitment of the volunteers here, the commitment of the founders to help people, to use the money wisely. It's the food. We also visit the families overseas, the missions, to make sure that the food are distributed as expected. We don't pay any flight tickets or anything like that. The volunteers go and they pay their own expenses.
Thanks again, Lily. To everyone watching, please check out Canadian Food for Children. It's a great cause, and try to help out any way that you can. Serby, back to you.
Now for our final thought of the day. What are some ways we can take action to help others? Try volunteering, donating, and make sure to check out their website, CanadianFoodForChildren.net, to learn more. It's an incredible cause. Thanks so much for the interview, and thank you, Lily, for your time. That's all for today. Stay tuned for our season finale. It's a faithful one. Until next time, I'm Serby, and this is Worship Daily.
I'm Isabella Ricci, and this is Worship Daily.
I'm Isabella Maria Ramirez Toss, and this is Worship Daily. Good night, Canada.